Coming up on Mountain News this morning, high school students are working together with a community organization to help moms and babies. And it is apple season, and one business in the region is seeing the fruits of its labor.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche, and we are just past that 5:30 mark this Friday morning, and it's Friday the 13th today. I mean, people have different outlooks on Friday the 13th, but hopefully we don't have any spooky weather today. How about that? Let's check in with meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast.
Not unless you're not a fan of the rain, Madison. I think a lot of us would like to see some rain to get into the ground. And it's nothing out of the ordinary right now. Some heavier bursts out to the west. So look at the radar in a moment. 63 outside our door right now. Same temperature in London and at Williamsburg, Jonesville, and Middlesboro. No other 63s right now. 61 at Ashland, 62. Good morning to you in Irvin. As the rain continues to come on in your way, as we check out the pinpoint Doppler radar, decent light, a moderate rain as you make your way from Norton up to Pikeville. This will continue to track through northern portions of Pikeville, or Pike County, that is, up into Painesville. Good bursts of rain has now gotten into Boonville and through McKee. This will move closer to the Mountain Parkway, heading toward the top of the hour, and we'll deal with this steadier, heavier rain here the next couple of hours as things ease up to showers as we head for the afternoon. Don't have the planner turned on, but the general gist. This will ease up to an isolated shower pattern heading into the afternoon. A little faded sunshine, a high near 80. More about the ARH First Alert 7-day forecast through the week and in the next week in this half hour. Madison.
All right, Tim, thank you. A Rockcastle County man is dead after a crash in Lincoln County. The multi-vehicle crash occurred a little before 4:30 Wednesday evening. The vehicle Christopher Mirato of Corbin was driving collided with Wanda Edwards of Broadhead. The vehicle Edwards was driving then collided with another vehicle, that one driven by Christina Ferris. 74-year-old Joseph Edwards was a passenger in the collision and was pronounced dead on the scene. We now know the name of the person who died in Wednesday's crash on I-75 in Whitley County. The Whitley County Coroner's Office says 56-year-old David Nyes died in the crash. According to KSP's preliminary investigation, Nyes lost control of his commercial vehicle while driving north on the interstate. He drove off the road, hitting trees and then flipping over. The northbound lanes were closed for several hours. A man has been found guilty in the 2020 Pike County murder of a Pike County woman. The Commonwealth's attorney for the 21st Judicial Circuit says Anthony Hall entered an open plea earlier this week in relation to his arrest for the murder of Jody Stapleton. Hall was charged back in 2020 after Stapleton died from injuries sustained when police say she was beaten. A Menifee County jury recommended multiple life sentences for Hall, including one for murder. Wednesday, an incident in Perry County prompted schools to go on lockdown, but we have new information regarding that situation. It was originally thought that a bullet may have hit a vehicle around exit 59. After a thorough preliminary investigation, Hazard Police believe no shooting happened and there is no danger to the public. The Sheriff's Department posted on Facebook that it appears a bullet found on a vehicle was possibly picked up from the highway or has some other origin and was not a fresh fired round. Perry County schools will be on their regular schedule today. Today marks the 30th anniversary of passing the Violence Against Women Act. The White House is highlighting the country's progress in fighting domestic violence. WYMT's Washington correspondent Brendan Cullerton breaks down the latest action from the Biden administration.
President Joe Biden is celebrating the law he wrote back when he was a senator in the 90s. Now, 30 years later, the White House says there needs to be more attention on the threats women face online. The White House says the 1994 Violence Against Women Act not only gave domestic violence victims more resources, it also put the issue in the public spotlight.
This was something that was hidden in the shadows. This was an issue that society as a whole was ignoring.
The Biden administration says between 1993 and 2022, annual domestic violence rates dropped by 67%. but the rate is still too high.
Any instance of violence against anyone is too high. So of course, there's always going to be more work to do.
President Biden is announcing new actions on the anniversary of the law that would provide additional funds to combat sexual violence and address sexual problems on the internet.
And it's combating more online violence, more online harassment and sexual harassment online, deep fake imagery, AI-generated videos that we're seeing online.
The White House says words online that cause pain and shame should be considered violence, and the administration is committed to protecting women online.
This is the next frontier of sexual violence, and what we're announcing today is a package of proposals and funding that will meet those evolving needs.
Some of the funding approaches the administration is pushing will need approval from Congress. In Washington, I'm Brendan Cullerton.
Leslie County High School students partnered with the Sapling Center to gather baby supplies for single mothers in the area that may not be able to afford them. Student Madeline Huff reached out to the center to ask about needs in the community, and it said there has been an increase in single mother households and teen mothers in the area. This resonated with Huff, who says she believes this drive will impact so many in her community.
Well, I just can't stand the thought of babies going to sleep hungry or not having diapers or anything, and I just really wanted to help my community and all the babies and families in it. I think it'll have a great outcome, and I'm just really excited to see them get the help that they need.
The drive will last until October 31st, and you can drop off donations at the Sapling Center in Hyden and in Hazard. Kentucky is celebrating the blessing of its newest Safe Haven baby box. The new addition is in Hardinsburg in Breckinridge County. It marks the 42nd baby box in the Commonwealth, and the 40th and 41st were blessed in Pikeville and Hazard earlier this week. Once a baby is placed inside, the box locks and healthcare workers are notified immediately. It is a secure and compassionate option for parents in crisis. Right now, there are 265 of these boxes dispersed across the country. The Southeast Kentucky Chamber of Commerce hosted its annual awards night at the Appalachian Wireless Arena in Pikeville last night. The event is the Chamber's way of celebrating its members, providing dinner and networking opportunities before presenting awards for the members, organizations, volunteers, and individuals voted on by the region. Chamber President and CEO Jordan Gibson says it is always a good night to celebrate the good things happening in the area.
We do a whole nomination process, and so I get to hear some of the things behind the scenes that maybe the public doesn't know about these individuals and these organizations, about why they are worthy of an award. And so the best thing for us is when we finally play these videos on the screen and everyone else gets to see the great things that they do too. It's pretty exciting.
Those in attendance say it is always a great time of fellowship and celebrating community. Martin County's Agritech Adventure is bringing apples to the people. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has an update on Appalachia's first harvest.
It all started with a seed.
Trees have had a tremendous response to the dirt that they're in, being reclaimed mine land. It's pretty awesome.
And has grown into a business that many people never saw coming to Martin County.
Everybody's kind of in disbelief that the pieces of fruit that they're getting is grown out here on these little trees.
Appalachia was planted in 2021, bringing new advancements to the area and to orchard manager Ryan Wilson.
It's been a huge learning curve for me because I don't have an agriculture background, but we have dug in and really learned about apples and growing apples and what it takes.
Now the 60-acre adventure is bearing fruit, and the first harvest has been hitting the road, with New York, Michigan, Ohio, and beyond taking a bite.
It's pretty awesome to think about that we are able to provide fruit and food to other areas of the country, and it can be grown here locally for us.
Wilson says the community response has been incredible, and it is only the beginning, with plans to add 89 more acres of fruit to the property during the next phase of planting.
The potential to expand and grow what we're doing here is astronomical. I mean, we have the land, and it just takes the work and the effort to put into it, and you can make it happen.
Saying at its core, the orchard is growing much more than Honeycrisp. It's growing opportunity. In Martin County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
If you want a taste of the Martin County treats, Appalachia will be set up during the Harvest Festival in Inez this weekend. A former American Idol winner is set to perform at this year's Martin County's Harvest Festival. Noah Thompson is the headliner for this year's festival. That festival will begin today and run through Saturday. The festival will also have food vendors, inflatables, and more. We have already enjoyed some fall-like days so far this month, but as the temperatures cool off, you may want to watch out for snakes. Kentucky is mainly known to have two venomous snakes, most commonly the eastern copperhead and also the timber rattlesnake. If you are out hiking or doing another outdoor activity, there are a few things you should be mindful of.
If you're in a place where you cannot see your feet well, there's tall weeds, fallen leaves, any sort of vegetation, don't wear flip-flops. Wear boots and long pants that are going to give you protection in case you accidentally step on a snake.
Snakes are more active at night when it's cooler, but once fall comes and temperatures cool some, they can be out any time of the day. Just ahead, we'll be live in Laurel County with WYMT's Lucy Bryson for an update on the I-75 shooting and manhunt.
It's an active start on the Pinpoint Doppler radar this Friday morning as this continues to track toward the north. This continues into the afternoon. We'll let you know. Your ARH First Alert 7-day forecast is coming up after the break.